Today, we're going to be very interactive, and I want to hear from you guys, and I want to help you guys one-on-one. I know where there's a group of us, but I want you guys to please jump in and let's hear your personal stories. We've talked about the chicken and egg, and a lot of people are asking, how do I get to the egg? Like, what is it? Like, I need guidance. I need something. So the first 2 or 3 minutes, I'm going to explain and reiterate what exactly the egg is and why it's so important. And then after that, I want to hear one-on-one. And I think we'll start with Larry, so she can prepare. All right, Larry. So give it in 2 or 3 minutes. You can jump, and then the rest of you guys, anyone else who wants to jump in can then do that. Okay. So here is the problem, and I hear this all the time. If you're in a networking group, which I'm in a great networking group in Australia, they don't like to be called a networking group, just like I hate the term lead generation. A network building group is a better word. They're amazing in Australia, called the Connect Collaborative. I work with them. There's a few people from Connect Collaborative that are actually on this call and follow these LinkedIn lessons that I put out. And one of the issues that people come, and I was having a chat to the Connect Collaborative to somebody today, and they said, they're not extroverted. They have a long sales cycle. It's more of an engineering product. Their deals are really, really big and expensive. It takes a long time. And they're kind of like, what do they kind of do? And how do they get around this problem? And whether you're a business consultant, you're selling an engineering product, a software product, it doesn't matter what you're selling. If you have a relatively big ticket item and you want to specifically sell something that costs quite a lot of money and has a large sales cycle, it's not a bad idea to start with something small, and that's the egg. Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about now today. So the chicken, your chicken is your product, and you love your chicken. And I've spoken about this ad nauseum. It's your beautiful little eyes. It's so cute. You love it and you cuddle it. You want to show it to everybody, but nobody wants to buy your chicken. And I told the guy this today. He's got a big ticket product that he sells to engineering companies. It's very expensive and it takes a long time to sell, and he's struggling to get traction on it. He's struggling to sell it. Months and months and months are going by. And I said to him, you need an egg. People understand an egg. No one wants to buy a chicken because it's expensive. And what happens if it dies? Who's going to take responsibility, accountability, and all that kind of stuff? So how do you come up with your egg? Your egg is something small, easy, finite, simple, that you can invoice, get a bit of money for it. Some people like to do it for free. I'm not saying you have to do it for free. You deliver something, it's over, it's done, and the client can take a chance on you. That's what you're doing. You're making yourself affordable enough so the client can take a chance on you, see how valuable you are. The egg hatches. Now the chicken that gets created is theirs and yours, and you become like parents and you raise the chicken together and they've bought into it. All right, that's what you want. So the first question you ask when coming up with your egg is this, to help you come up with it, is usually something like this. If your client or prospect came back to you and said, hey mate, what can you do for $500? Or what can you do for $5,000? Or what can you do for me for $2,000? That's all I'm willing to spend to take a chance on you. What value can you give me for that amount? What would your answer be in one page? That's essentially what your egg is. So you've got to think, what is the right amount of money that you're willing to get in return? What deliverables will you give for that? And how do you package it nicely? So let's jump over to Larry now. All right. And let's start using Larry as the egg of a guinea pig. I don't think guinea pigs lay eggs, but you know what I'm talking about. So Larry, yeah. Let's start with you. Okay. Tell us about the thinking that you've done around your egg.
Okay. So big picture is my work is in transforming your sport and your career. So it's transitioning out of sport into a career. That for pro athletes, etc. So one of my eggs is responding constructively to adversity, managing change.
Okay, so here's the issue. Your egg needs to be finite with a cost attached to it. So, Larry, what I'm thinking right now, and everybody listening to this is thinking, I know a professional or semi-professional athlete right now, and they might need to get a job. They need a career. Now, they're going to say, you must talk to Larry. But what are they going to say? They're going to go, the first thing Larry's going to do to you or do with you is she's going to sit with you for 2 hours. It's going to cost you $1,000 Australian or New Zealand or $500. I don't know what your price tag is. And what you're going to get out of it is this, 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 and you can use it for this. And that person has got to go, wow, that's really good. Larry sounds like somebody I can take a chance on, and the money is worth it. That's what I need from you, Larry. Take me to the next step. What is it?
Okay. So stepping back to go forwards, sit with me for 2 hours. You will, at the end of it, have a master life vision that's uniquely yours, that fits, it's meaningful, it's purposeful, and we can develop a strategy around it to take you forward. But you've got a life vision to hold on to.
I think that's pretty good. So for 2 hours, you're going to come up with a master life vision for a professional athlete to take their career. Are you looking for athletes to take their career that's outside of their profession? That's something else. So you might have a professional cyclist that now wants to be an accountant, or is it a professional cyclist that wants to grow their career in cycling? Just can you just be a little bit more specific?
You know what, Scott? I can do both. And I was working on my LinkedIn profile today to try and encompass that. So you took me by surprise. So I had to jump.
Good. I'm glad.
So I'm just the big picture is work, sport, and career transformation. So there's more in that. But because the Olympics has just ended, and I'm talking to the CEOs of certain Olympic organizations, it's about, because in the next 3 to 6 months, those athletes will be saying, am I retiring? What am I going to do? Am I staying? If I stay, how do I make a part-time income? So I can do all of that. But as you say, it's I've said mastering radical work-life change, and then I got a bit clumsy, but it's through their unique leadership identity, leader identity. Everyone's a leader.
Okay.
That's what I pick up. That's what I identify. That's what I help you for your biggest desired results and outcomes.
Right. Okay. I like that. So you're finding the leader within a professional athlete, taking that leadership quality, creating a master life vision that can help them generate an income over and above sport, because as a professional athlete, they're not earning enough. Right. So that becomes a one-pager and and not lots of little writing, big writing, a diagram, very simple. Somebody should be able to make a decision to go with that egg in no more than 5 minutes. That's all. They look at that egg and they go, I'm going to do it. So what you do is you take a one-pager and you go, this is the problem. The problem is right now is that professional athletes need another income. They have leadership quality potential, but they don't know how to get that income that goes over and above what they supplementing their professional sport, because they want to carry on following their dream, but can't. This is the problem. Then you move into I'm Larry. This is what I do. I work with you. I know what it feels like to be you. I take you through a 2-hour presentation, one-on-one, intense, and we come up with your master life vision, and I identify the leadership quality within you that will be recognized by a third-party organization who's going to want to snap you up and help you balance the work and your dream to become a professional athlete or continue on your career as a professional athlete. That second, the cost is what, Larry?
I'm doing a guppy. You know what?
Laying
I'm
an
going to
egg.
do it because these athletes, this is a cost over. I'm doing it in a team, in a group thing. So so they can afford it.
Okay, well, that's fair enough, but then you need to have X number of people. So you've got to have two options. Either you can wait for my next group, which is at this date, which is
Yes.
how much for the group to spend 2 hours with you in a group.
Yes, that's right. Option, individual, one-on-one, or group.
I'm waiting for
Correct.
that number, Larry.
Thank you.
Don't be shy.
Thank you.
How much does it
Thank
cost?
you.
You can change it later.
that'll
We're not going to hold you to it. It's not cast in stone.
Yeah. In a group, it'll cost you 700. On a one-on-one, it'll cost you $2,000.
2,000. Okay.
Yeah.
And you've got to learn to say numbers without.
Yeah. I know.
$2,000. Okay. Yeah. You got to be unashamable. If you're not happy with the price, then change the price. But you've got to be confident with your pricing. Okay.
Yes.
So it's 700. It's 700 New Zealand dollars. If you join in a group for 2 hours, and it's 2,000 if you don't. There you go. So there it is. So there's your egg. So now, Larry, you've got that one pager that you can send out, and now anybody else listening to this knows that they can go, I know a professional athlete that's struggling and they want to carry on their dream, but they need an extra income. They can sit with Larry, and Larry's going to give them a plan to go, this is what you need to do, and it's some form of strategy, and grow great. 2 hours, $700. Here you go. Take this and work with it. They might come back again because now the egg has been laid and might hatch, and they might need more of your services. Awesome. But that's your starting point.
Yes.
Everybody give Larry a round of applause. She's got her egg. Okay.
Cool.
Do you see what happens?
All
right.
Yeah.
You can change it a bit. All right. This is what it means. Now, when you're reaching out on LinkedIn, you're reaching out to professional athletes, and you've got to create a captivating one-liner. Don't sell your egg as your captivating one-liner. There's a difference. The captivating one-liner is, this is Larry, and I know what your problem is, professional athletes. Professional athletes need a second income and a boss that believes in their dream, their athletic dream. That would be your captivating one-liner. Yes, Larry understands me. Click, nice little article. I'm Larry. I know your problem. Wow, this is amazing. Then you can start your waterfall, everything I've taught you. And when you on the phone or you're chatting to them, they're going to say, where do we start? Here's your egg, $700, $2,000. Let's go. There's your sales strategy, Larry.
Awesome, Scott. Yeah, awesome.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. You put me on the spot, but it helped me because I had to think fast.
Good. I'm glad, but it's more authentic when you have to think quicker. Right, now you've seen what Larry had to go through, guys. Who's next? let's see who's going to volunteer now. A lot of people going off video. I'm scared. Thanks, Greg. No worries, Greg.
Yeah, well, I'm just wondering, after hearing Larry's concept, but a couple of potential eggs that are much less expensive than that. One of them is this book, Cracking the Code, for owners of professional service firms. I've got that on sale for $7 for PDF or $27 hard copy. Then there's upsells. So if they buy that, then they can have extra training. Ultimately, there's about 3 levels where they can get training for $97 and $297 Aussie dollars or US dollars, I mean. And and obviously that becomes a lead generator for me to sell my higher level services.
Yeah.
So that's one idea. And the other one is a monthly webinar I run, which is free to attend.
I like that. So right. Okay. So Greg's gone the book route, which I did as well. And he's gone for the paid for book route. I did that originally, and then I went the free ebook and got it now upgraded to the 4th edition to update it. But the ebook is another option, guys. Definitely. And this is something you want to look at. Now, it depends on your personality type as well. Some people like the book because they can get a lot of information in a really nice way. They can tell the story in their own way. They can get it across without having to worry about if they one-on-one, they might fumble or bumble or whatever. So a book is really nice if it's something relatively complex. Also, think of your target audience. Greg, you mentioned for its professional services. The professional services audience tend to be studious, admin orientated, and they might take a book and they'll read it. And if it hooks them, they'll learn from it. So it's nice for them to sit down. But above all, it builds Greg's credibility. Absolutely. So Greg's gone that route. So that's his egg. You pay for a book, you buy it, and then you go from there. And then he's also got the webinar. A webinar is also a pretty good one. A free webinar. He runs it every month, and his goal is just to get people on that webinar. He takes them through, and with a bit of luck, he closes a deal at the end of it. Also, very much. So these are all great ideas of eggs. 100%. So Greg, tell us a little bit about conversions. I mean, how's the conversion going with the book and the webinar, and how are you finding the client sales process going?
Well, I haven't actually launched this funnel with the book yet, but in the past I've used it, giving it away for free, and that's invited people then to a one-day seminar, and conversion rate out of that was pretty good. So typically we ran that seminar once a month. Haven't done that for a while since COVID. The other approach with the online webinar monthly, I ran my first one last week. So again, have not much data to look at yet, but have one person who's come back to me from the webinar, who actually didn't attend the webinar, but said, sorry, I couldn't attend, but I would like to grow my business. So, so even, just running the webinar, creating a list of people who wanted to attend is getting interest in the next level. Okay.
Right. This is interesting. The other thing about a webinar is you still need an egg at the end of it, because you need to hook them into something. They need to pay for something. So the egg is still important at this. So the webinar is almost a lead in. So I wouldn't say the webinar is an egg at such, because your egg needs to have a price attached to it, or it's free, but at least you're building, it can be, it can't be, but usually what happens is at the end of a webinar, because there's a group of people there and you don't know them that well, you need an egg to hook in, and they pay for something, and then you're working with them one-on-one, and then you grow your services. It's unlikely somebody is necessarily going to buy a 12-month package off the back of and spend 100,000 Australian dollars off the bat of a webinar. They usually need an egg, and you hook them in and you take them through the process. So you still do need that egg. And I want to mention something. Now, we're going right back to the beginning. Remember, I told you guys about your original numbers, the sales funnel. How many invitations do you need? How many acceptances do you need to eventually get down to how many deals do you want to get? And usually, most people are on around B2B businesses want around 30 deals per year. Someone 50, someone 10. Occasionally, it's more than 100. That's really rare. But 30 is kind of like a good number. If you've got 30 clients in a year, you're like really happy. That's that. You're making money and you're doing okay. You might not be super rich. To get those 30 clients, you probably need about 5 times those, depending on post-COVID now. That's about 150 good quality leads, right? So if you divided those 150 leads into 3 webinars with 50 people on them each, you should be able to convert those. You see how I'm bringing webinars into the process? Where do you get the people to come from your webinar? You should all know the answer to that question. You're inviting them through your sales pipeline. So you're inviting them through your sales pipeline. You're picking those key people. Let's go back to Larry or Greg. So Greg's looking for, let's say, sales directors specific. And once again, Greg, you're saying sales directors or business owners of particular industries, right? I know, Greg, you can sell to everybody, but our methodology works really well if you do a webinar only for engineering companies, or only for construction companies, or only for insurance, financial advisors. So you create these webinars around a particular group or a particular audience, right? And then you follow the process. You do your LinkedIn invitations. Some of those are going to accept. Of those accept, you start sending them messages, right? Gets to the point where you go, right, let's do a webinar. You invite those people to your webinar. You've already got your audience. You've got the ability to message them. You've got the ability to email them. You can follow up, and you just take them through that process. Exactly the same process applies. All you're doing is you're adding a webinar into the opportunity to get another bite of the cherry to sell to them. See how that's working? Same process applies, guys. It always fits with the captivating one-liner. It always fits with your sales pipeline. And if you just follow and go after that unique audience, you will eventually get that big splash when the water hits the bottom of the waterfall and you build up that momentum. So yeah, thanks, Greg. I appreciate that. So who else has got an egg that wants to share or would like to go through this? William.
Yes, kind of interesting exercise we've just been through with the partners, with my partners. We decided that, or I decided unilaterally actually to set up an events call, which we then built into my most trusted, along with some education tutorials. And for me, it was more of like a catch-all rather than like a strategic, an important strategic decision to invite people to webinars. It was in case we don't get on the phone to them, in case we can't get hold of them, in case we don't talk to them, then they might come in through a webinar or an event. So we had our first event last week and nobody turned up except the partners, but it didn't matter because we had a good chat.
How many books said they were going to show up? How many books?
One, only one.
Okay.
A South African chap, actually, because we've been targeting estate agents for apps.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. Okay. So you had one person who said they would show up, but that one person didn't, but you ran it. It was your first one. You're trying. We might even do a session just on events. I want to do that because I know Dan, for example, is quite good with LinkedIn events and how to get people to events, what the conversion ratio is. That's fine, Dan. Sorry, I just wanted interested to know that. But if somebody had shown up, and this is great, this is new businesses, guys. You're not going to expect everything to fall from heaven. You've got to learn. It's a growth period. But now, William, what was your plan in that webinar, and what was your egg? What were you looking to get them to close and sell?
I think actually that the plan went awry because we didn't have anybody that had ended up as a partner discussion. So to be honest with you, what I wanted to do and say, my egg, which would have been very much focusing on, because we've got two kind of app products, one's cheaper and one's more expensive. I'd have been looking at the cheaper one and saying, look guys, we've got this special deal, it's $4.99, build you an app, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to pass you over to the partners because it was in South Africa. My partners are in South Africa, so it was essentially a South African call. I could have then handed that over to the partners, but we didn't get to that point.
Okay, so the egg is an app for £499.
Yeah.
Right. So you build an app for £499. So the way that you're going to approach that is you approach certain industries or key people and go, you have to be really strategic with apps because everybody's selling apps. Everybody goes, hi, I'm app development. So you got to go and go, okay, I'm targeting breweries. All right. I want breweries there because we've got an idea that we want to pitch to breweries where we have a specific type of app we can build for you guys and get you going straight away. And to prove to you it works, this is how we're going to do it. Come to this webinar and let me explain it. It's specifically for breweries to take you guys to the next level. Oh, it's difficult for them not to show up. How are you going to not show up? Because you're going to feel that if you don't show up as a brewery, you might be falling behind.
Yeah, and we've actually got a combination, rather than just focus on the app, it's a combination of video, QR codes, and app. So that was the link. That was the glue to keep the conversation bespoke for estate agents. But
in this case, estate agents
selling houses at the moment.
Yeah, no, but this is also a chance for them to be innovative, and 499 quid for an app is like nothing. I mean, it's crazy. So you can say to them, listen, we can get you an app for this, and yeah, but okay, so you're targeting estate agents. So your egg is a £499 app to begin with. Perfect. I mean, that's great. It's affordable. Somebody can take a chance and feel like they're taking a chance, and then you grow the relationship. It's awesome. So yeah, well, I'll say you're definitely on the right track there. No question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good.
Nice.
Scott, can I jump in for a minute?
Sure, Dan.
Okay, so firstly, just coming back to your conversation with Larry, I'm friendly on LinkedIn with Lewis Pugh. I don't know if you know him, Lewis Pugh. Do you know him at all?
No.
He's like an Arctic swimmer for climate change.
See the polar bear.
He's like something like a polar bear. He's an extreme swimmer.
Okay.
So one of the things that he like came up with in terms of the problems and the challenges that he faces is the psychological and mental issues that he has while he's swimming in extreme cold. I mean, you're swimming in sub-zero temperature, freezing cold water.
Yeah, sure.
You know, so how do you prepare yourself mentally? So Larry, you know, what I was thinking while you were talking about athletes and that kind of thing, you know, if you could solve those kind of problems for them, as regarding the, look at what happened with what's that chick that at the Olympics, Biles, the gymnast. And part of the problems that she was facing. So you know, not only do you have to look at the master class, you've got to look at the psychological impact that athletes go through. Okay, so regarding that, and then regarding Greg, your book and the way that you going about it, it's a great chicken. But what I think that you haven't given enough thought to, sorry, it's a great egg, but you haven't given enough thought to the chicken in terms of being able to monetize. Look, you're not going to get rich off a $9 book. I'm sorry to say that. And neither are you going to get rich off people attending a webinar. So what you need to look at is being able to kind of upsell them into something a lot more value. In other words, that what we all do, and Scott kind of says it often, is that we undervalue the assets that we bring to a company, and the way that we could help them grow their business. Because that is why we're here, and that's what we all are kind of about, is growth and doing it in an empathetic way.
I hear you. I think though, Greg has got a pretty good chicken. I think he knows what he's selling, Greg.
Yeah,
no, absolutely. It's got a.
I just got one today, an $8,000 12-week training program.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's the chicken. The chicken is the product. So he's got that, and he's cracked it straight away. So there you go.
Hey,
one thing
well
leads to the other. Yeah, good. Nice one. You see, it can be done. You can sell out there, guys. It's possible. It's possible. Doyle.
If I may, I'd have to say that the book, like I've written a couple as well, the book makes it's a chicken, quite honestly. It's not an egg because it's too long, it's too drawn out, there's too much detail. So from what I can tell, and in using this metaphor, it seems to be more like a chicken because there's a lot of depth that you go into it. That is the 5, 10, 8 grand program or whatever the case may be. But if you're looking for a single egg that's like relatively inexpensive, a product for prospects kind of thing, it needs to be very, from my understanding, again, from talking with you, Scott, it needs to be very tangible, very small and easy to communicate so that somebody else can do it and somebody else can tell people about your egg as well. So it can't be complicated because you have to remember that.
Yeah.
Scott's egg is, creating a one-liner, which is pretty easy to remember.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go into a content of a book, it's hard to explain it into one line.
Yeah. The book is an interesting one though, because you're building a relationship while they're reading it. They're getting to know the author. So it's almost like the egg is hatching as a result of the book. But the difficult thing is to get someone to read that whole book. Wow.
Yeah.
It's not easy, especially with so much content out there. But Doyle, seeing as you put your hand up, I know we've been working on this for a little while. I would like to know, Doyle, how are you coming along with your egg?
I'm working on it. My egg is actually a 3D egg. And what it is it's a 3D strategy tool. So you map it out online, and then you print it out and you fold it into what I call a stratahedron. So it gives you your strategy here on each of these faces and how they interact. So I was thinking of using it because honestly, I didn't know what to do with this. I just created it and it's like, hey, cool. What do I do with this? How do I market it? But Scott had the idea of using that as an egg itself. So I can run people through a specific training program, a short 2-hour type training program, where you could actually create one of these for your business and then have it there as a tool to talk about and to know and to convey your overall strategy.
So good.
I don't know the exact wording to use, but I'm sure I said something.
No, you basically nailed it. I mean, I think everyone understood. I mean, I've listened to Doyle talk about this for 20 minutes and still not fully grasped it. This is the best that you've done. I mean, you literally gave us the perfectly 1-minute overview. Doyle, that's awesome. The only thing I want to know, everyone's asking, is how much does it cost for you to take them through creating that stratahedron for their business for 2 hours?
Well, for that, it would be like a 2-hour course for about $200. So to get you through that and create one of these.
Brilliant. Now, how easy is it for anybody to be able to refer Doyle? Because digital agencies are everywhere, and now Doyle, and it's so easy to differentiate now, because I can go talk to clients and they go, oh, I don't know if I should do with my website what I should do. You know what? I can make a suggestion. Talk to Doyle. Doyle's created a stratahedron. It's like this triangle thing that folds up. You know those little games that you used to play when you used to, you know, that little ingy, and then you say like that when a kid. He's done one of those. He sits with you for 2 hours. He puts it together. I think it's like $100 or $200. Like, it's really cheap. He sits with you, and there's your digital strategy. There's the foundation. What's needed, the most important things. Done. Sold. Cool. How do I get hold of Doyle? Well, here's his number. Hey, Doyle, Scott put me in touch. Oh, cool, man. I believe you've got the stratahedron thing. Can we talk about it? Yeah, sure. Let's do it. He already knows the price. They've agreed, and Doyle goes, yeah, this is what I do. This is what I offer. Cool. Let's book it into the diary. Now, after 2 hours with Doyle working on the stratahedron, they're getting to know Doyle. They're getting to like Doyle. They're getting to trust Doyle. They're getting to know about all the other services Doyle can offer, and go, cool, I can see this is the problem in my business. This is where my strategy needs to go. How do we get started? Doyle go, probably the best thing is to do fix up your website, build a landing page. Wow, your website's great. We need to optimize your SEO. The egg, and so the egg doth hatch. And now more and more business comes from it. That has been really cool, guys. That couldn't have worked out better. In fact, it finished off with Doyle actually having a literal egg that wasn't even in the shape of an egg. Really, really cool, guys. That was fantastic. Before I finish off, because we are almost out of time from a recording perspective, any final words?
I learned a lot, and I'm very excited to be a virtual assistant.
Oh, great. I'll send you that info. Yeah. I'll post it in the chat just now, and you guys can see how the VA process works. In fact, you can all join the VA process, the virtual assistant process, just out of interest, if you like, and you can see how the process works. But that would be great. Yeah, thank you. Anything before we finish off? Let's just stop recording. We can chat for a few minutes.
Hello, Scott.
Hi, Andrea.
It's Lynn. It's Lynn this
It's
time.
Lynn. Lynn and Andrea always together. I know.
I've been sitting here for week after week after week, churning and stewing, and I just thought about it from the general conversation today, that maybe what I should do, instead of looking for one-on-one business, which has a long sales cycle, especially for the financial planning arena that I've been in for years and years, the pain point I can use is to approach company owners, small, medium, large, and say, do you have members of staff stepping into your office in a financial crisis? Let's see if we can court the process with your guidance, how we can do some workshops, webinars, we can start off gently, how we can teach them right from scratch, debt busting, budgeting, etc., etc., etc.
Lynn, that's great. All you need to do now is be able to write that in a one-pager to say, you're an owner of a business. I want to sit with you, and I want to sit with your staff for 2 hours and identify what their problems are, so they don't knock on your door anymore with crises. They can knock on mine, and I can teach them how to put this together. The cost of this 2-hour workshop or half-day workshop is however much money you want to do it, and there's your egg. So all I'm suggesting, Lynn, is you be a little bit more specific on what you just told us, and you put a price tag to it.
So what will be the egg?
The egg is you going to a business owner and saying, I want to sit with your staff for 2 hours or a half-day workshop. And we're going to sit down and solve this financial crisis that we all know is coming, so they don't knock on your door with that financial crisis. They have already some of the tools they have and access to me to help them. Let me teach them with that process. It's going to cost you X. For half-day workshop, I don't know. That's up to you to decide.
After he said,
Do you see, Lynn?
Mm-hmm. Thanks. Well done. Lovely.
Okay.
Thanks to the group. I got that aha from the group. Thank you so much.
Brilliant. I'm glad it's working. Excellent, everybody. Thank you. And we will see you next week. Go lay those eggs.